And Jemison's world building is rich. You know, it's vivid. It's atmospheric. Hello, unicorns. I'm Tiffany. There's Angelica. And today we are back. We are back with a series review on one of the greatest books, on one of the greatest series I have ever read. And if you didn't already know from the thumbnail, from the title page, we are here to talk about the Broken Earth Trilogy. So, the Broken Earth Trilogy is one of, if not the greatest fantasy sci-fi dystopian novel that I have ever read. Okay? It was giving me things I didn't even know I needed. I didn't even know that I wanted. Now, mind you, when I first read this book, when I first initially picked up The Broken Earth, the 5th season, I DNF'd him. I couldn't even get through 10% of the book. And that was because of the narration style. Hold on. I have it here. Here. So, as I said, if you can see it, first tab here is where I DNF'd. This is my first DNF on page 10. I only got 10 pages in the first time. I was like, no, this book is not for me. And then at the top end of this year, I think it was in December, January times of this year, I was just like, no, I have bought all the books. They're on my shelves. I need to read it. And I dedicated a week of my life to finish this book. Let me tell you, this book took me 2 days. Once I did the audio book and a hybrid read. So I was doing audio and reading it. I devoured this book. I ate it up. I ate it so much that I binged it off for 2 straight afterwards. You know, it was so good. Let me get into it. I don't like holding up the books in my videos, so I'm just gonna put them back. So yes, let's just get into it. Let's discuss it. So the 5th season is the first book of the trilogy, of the Broken Earth Trilogy. And the story is set in this world called the Stillness, where earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and other natural disasters are a constant threat to the inhabitants. Now this is a dystopian novel, so this stillness is technically our world, but thousands and generations of years later. Okay? So they have these things called seasons, and the 5th season is the most climactic, it's the most devastating season of all. It is the season that terraforms the world, okay, that changes it to the point where the stillness is not recognizable from the world that we live in now. However, in this world there are these people called origins, and they have the ability to manipulate the earth, okay, so they can sense the movement of the earth, you know, the movement of the plates, so they can either cause these natural disasters or stop them in their tracks. And due to this ability, due to the devastating effects that these natural disasters have on the world, and the fact that these origins can control them, they are feared by the masses. They are feared by the people. Because of this fear, they are often killed or imprisoned or shunned. Most likely, they are murdered. They are killed. Even if you're a child, even if your baby shows this affinity, this power, you're either sent away to this boarding school called the Fulcrum, or you end up getting killed, and they're gonna kill you for the betterment of others, so they believe. And that is where we're at. That is what the 5th season, what the Broken Earth Trilogy, that is the core of the foundation. So as I said, if your child is found out to be an origin, if they found out to have this ability, they are sent to the Fulcrum, and they are sent there and trained by what is known as guardians, yeah? And these guardians help them control their ability for the betterment of the world, so they can use them or stop the seasons as they are approaching. Now, as I said previously, this book, when you first start off reading it, I highly suggest you give it a couple of chapters. You give it a go. Because don't be like me. Don't DNF and just don't read it. Okay? Don't DNF at the 10-page mark. You need to give it at least 15, 20, maybe even 25%. Because it starts off at second-person narration. And if you haven't read the second-person narration before, it will throw you. Now, if you don't know what a second-person narration is, you know how you get first-person where the book is like, I did this, I did that. Third person is when the book does they, them, he, her. Second person is where you are the character. It's where the narration is telling you what you've done. Like, you are here, this is what you are doing, and you didn't feel this way. And I'm just like, don't put me in this mess. When I'm reading, I'm like, don't put me in this mess. I'm not here for it. I ain't murdered nobody. Don't tell me I did this and I did that. It ain't me. I'm reading about someone else's life. Now it didn't sit right with me. But there's a reason for the second person. The second person elevates the book. So if you can get past it, if you can read the first couple of chapters and it's still not jiving with you, do the audiobook. Do the audiobook. If you do the audiobook and it's still not jiving with you, I don't know, reevaluate your life, because you should be enjoying this book. It's fantastic. Anywho, so back to the book, back to the review. So let's start off by talking about this will, because the will, the stillness in itself is a major impact. The stillness is like a natural character, because what it does, when there is a natural disaster, when there's an earthquake, where the origins in themselves are controlling the will, it makes the will come alive. So we can't talk about the 5th season without talking about the will. Now, Jemisin's world building, because I read a plenty of fantasy novels, and Jemisin's world building is rich. You know, it's vivid. It's atmospheric. Okay, I've never experienced an earthquake in my natural life. I haven't been in those locations where earthquakes and natural disasters are an occurrence. But reading this book, I felt like I knew how it felt to be in that situation. I felt like I can feel my body shaking, you know, I can feel the tectonic plates rubbing against each other. And that's because the way Jemisin describes it, the way it's depicted on page, was so vivid and detailed. I was in it. And not to mention, because it's second person, they're telling me I'm in it. So I'm in it. I'm there with you, baby. I know. And the magic system in this world, the fact that they use thermal and kinetic energy as a manipulation tool to adjust the seismic effects, I could go in detail, just so you know, everything about this book, from the world building to the magic system, is earth-shatteringly good. Pun intended, okay? So we have got 3 POVs in this book. We have got Essen, we have got Cyanide, and we have got Demaya. Okay, so these are the 3 main POVs that we filter between. Only one of them, however, is in second person. It's not the whole book. Only one of these characters are second person. The first character that we are introduced is Essen, and this is the second person POV perspective that we are reading from. Now, once you get past this, I have to reiterate, once you get past it, and you realize what they're telling you, what happened to you because you are Essen, or if you're not already hooked, if you don't already feel Essen's pain, I just don't know. Because you realise how impactful second person POV can be. So the book starts off with the narrator telling us, the reader, about the will, telling us the situation, what the world is, what it's about. And then we don't know who's talking. We don't know whose mindset we should be in. However, the narrator tells us that somebody is breaking the world and that a woman's son is dead. And then boom, out of nowhere, he tells us that woman is us, that we are that woman, and that is our son that is dead. So right now, this narrator is already murdering my kin, already murdering my family. Okay, I'm with it. I'm still going to read. So then the narrator goes on to explain to us that we are Essen. Essen is we are embodying her. And she is a 42-year-old woman who has found her 3-year-old baby boy dead in her home. Now, from this outline, from this initial first couple of pages, Jemisin has already drawn you in. Jemisin has already put you in the mix. Jemisin has already made you emotionally infested. Okay, so Jemisin has already told us that our baby boy is dead, and then the questions begin to arise. Who killed him and why? Now, I'm not going to tell you that because you have to read the book to find out, but once you find out, once you know who killed him and the reasons why, if you don't tell me that you feel heated and angry with it, you want answers to these questions. And it's not, we don't have to wait long. They tell us real quick who killed the boy, why they killed him, and what he did next. Because not only did they kill our baby boy, they kidnapped our daughter, they took our daughter and scooted and booted. So now we as Essen, we are now on a mission to hunt down this murdering psychopath and find our baby girl, because no way, we're not going to allow them to kill both our children. No, no, no. So that is Essence story. That is how the story starts off, and we are invested. We are here for it. And because it's told in second POV, because they're telling us that it's our daughter, it's our son that's died, it is our grief, it's our emotions that we're feeling. We are feeling this emotion. See, me, I ain't had no babies in real life. I ain't have no daughter, I ain't had no child. I ain't had nobody do a murder on me, killing my kin. Reading this book, I felt like someone just snatched my child from my room and murdered him in my eye. I don't know how I'm meant to feel like that. Jemison brought out that emotion in me. I don't know if I should be thanking her or be mad at her. All I know is that this book, the writing, the vivid of detail was fantastic. Ain't nobody got me feeling this emotion like this. We move on to our second character, Dayama. Is it Dayama? No, it's Demaya. I don't know. Even though I listened to it to an audiobook, I ain't saying these names right. But we move on to Demaya. Now, Demaya is a young girl. She's a little baby. She's not a little baby. Demaya is a young girl. She's just realised and discovered that she is an origin. And as I said before, the origins have the ability to control the tectonic plate to cause the natural disaster. And because of this, they are shunned and they are hated by the masses. They're the people at large who do not have this ability. And that also means that your parents will hate you too. And that is exactly what happened with Demaya. So Demaya develops these abilities, showcases that she has them, and her mama goes and locks her away. Mama goes and puts her in shit and just treats her badly. But she ain't there for that long, because a guardian, one of them guardians at the school, the training school, comes along, collects her, and says, you know what, you're coming with me, I'm going to take you to the folk group. Now, after seeing what her parents have treated her like, doesn't even give her a blanket or a pot to piss and just hides her away in the room. And then we have the guardian child, his name was Shafa. I don't know. But he comes and collects her, and he's the only one that stood up for Dayama. He said, you're treating your daughter like an animal. You're not treating her with the respect she deserves. And he puts them in their place. Love that. I love that for her. I love that for him. And I thought I was getting the mentor and the mentee relationship bond. They're going to be besties and they're going to rule the world together. You know that trope? No. No. We do not get this. N.K Jemisin here, she's not writing a heartfelt story. She's not writing a story filled with compassion and love. What is she writing is a reflection on our society in a dystopian world. So where I'm thinking that Shefa is going to be, Shefa, this guardian, is going to be Demaya's savior, is going to be her protector, he turns out to be the abuser. So on their journey to this fulcrum, Shefa is exerting his will, his dominance on Demaya. And he does it in such a subtle way that at first I was thinking, hold on a minute, this don't feel right. It doesn't feel copacetic. One of the most chilling passages of this book happens when Demaya tries to resist the guardian. He says, never say no to me. Origins have no right to say no to me. I am your guardian. I will break every bone in your body if I deem it necessary to make the world safe from you. Now, this is what Schaefer says to Demaya after he has saved her, after she's used him as the savior. That's the man that took her away from this neglectful home. And the way that Schaefer is cheating her is just because she is considered other. It's because she is considered other than everybody else. And what Jemisin is doing here is showing us, is shining up a mirror on us and reflecting the way that some people treat those that they deem other. Treat them less than human. It was impactful. It got me. And this is right at the beginning. This is right near the beginning of the book. And I'm thinking, what else is left? What else can you do? You've already broken me. You're just going to destroy me now, Jemisin? Is that your mission in life? And then, so after Shepard says this, after he breaks some bones in her body to prove that he can, he then says that he loves her. And I'm doing this because I love you. Now, we've moved on from the mistreatment of those that we consider other. Now Jemisin is hitting mark of the abuse that happens to children, okay? To loved ones, okay? To people that say that they love you and they're meant to protect you, and they're the ones that are abusing you, honestly. Jemisin is giving us everything and it's making you want to think. Again, we're still at the beginning of the book. There is a lot to unpack here. And although I know this is a fantasy book, this is a sci-fi dystopian book, okay? I know this. I know this is a work of fiction. But what Jemisin is doing with this book, how she developed these characters, how she's portraying these characters, make them feel real. That they could be real. Because certain of the underlying tones of this book, most, if not every underlying tones of the book, it's a reflection of today's society. It's a reflection of what certain people go through, of those that are deemed other, of the children that are being abused, of the marriage, of the abuse that's going on between marriages, between those people that are meant to love you, but treat you as other, treat you as indifferent, that hurts you. Jemisin is shining the light on that in a fantasy sci-fi dystopian setting. Now, and what she does is that the origin children in this book that are deemed as other, that are deemed as inferior, that is internalized within them, okay? Throughout this novel, we see that the origin children do not see themselves as human, do not see themselves as worthy, and as worthy, and they accept the abuse given to them. They accept the resentment, the hatred that is thrown at them from adults and from others and from their parents and from people that are meant to love them, because that is what society tells them they should expect. And this is more explored in our third and final POV, Cyanide. Now, she is a young lady who has lived the majority of her life at the Fulcrum, and she has mastered most, if not all, abilities of the origin. Okay, she is near the top of the list. Now, because she has raised the ranks, because she has so much control, she has been deemed suitable for breeding. You heard me right, for breeding. They are breeding origins that have enough power. And this is where we meet the other character within Cyanide's POV, Alabaster. And he is one, if not the most powerful origin in existence. And they have been matched together because of their power to start breeding. They have no love for each other. They don't like each other. They don't even respect each other except from the power that Alabaster has. But they have been forced into this breeding program, and so they go on this journey together because they need to breed at the same time. Now, I didn't realize this trope was in there, and this is a trope I didn't realize that I liked until I read it in here. This is enemies to best friends. Not to lovers. They ain't lovers. They're enemies to best friends, and that's what I love to see. It's not always going to be about love. It's not always going to be about lovers and they're hooking up and they fall in love with each other. I love to see friendship. And between Cyanide and Alabaster, their friendship and how it developed over time and how much they came to respect and to love each other in a friendship way, not in a romantic way, was excellent. I need more things like this. I need more books to focus less on the romance and more on the kinship, more on the friendship. Enemies to friendship, it's my favourite trope right now. It's my new favourite. I need more books like this. So if you know any books that have enemies to friends, okay, or just have that good, not even sister bond, that friend, that close companionship bond without the romance, please let me know. Please let me know. So I have to say, out of all three of these POVs that we get, I have to say that Cyanide was my favourite because of Alabaster. I love seeing that relationship develop between them. Essen was heartbreaking. Essen, I can't even say it's a revenge story. It wasn't a revenge story. It's a story of desperation because all she wants to do is save her daughter so she wasn't murdered. And then Demaya, I don't like watching children get abused. You know, and because I know it is unpaid and you know what's happening, but it's not explicit in every chapter, but I know in the background that that's what's happening. Oh, it didn't sit right with me, but I still read it and I still devoured it because that is the story being told. I can't just read this book for the parts I enjoy. You have to read it whole to get the full context of the story that N.K Jemisin is trying to tell us. Because the 5th season, at its root core, at its heart, is about systematic oppression. Oppression is not a side effect of the plot. It's not bonus commentary that is just tackled on with lofty metaphors and expressions. Systematic oppression is the whole story. Okay, that is what this book is about. Everything that this society does to keep origins down, from the history of origins to the mythology of origins to what origins are actually capable of, to what they should do if they find an origin, it is done to keep them down. It's done to keep them oppressed. It is done to keep them as lesser, even though they are some of the most powerful beings within this universe. In the Sildars, there's something called stone law, which in this world is similar to a Bible or to a religious text that shows people how to live. And as with any text that has been translated, that has been gone down through generations, hundreds and thousands of years, law has changed it. Like Chinese whispers, what is originally written has been changed over the period of time. So those in power, I could talk about this all day, but I feel like this video is already long enough, and we've just touched on the 5th season. We haven't even got into the rest of the book. I want to do a full series review, but I feel like my throat is a bit drying up. I need a drink. So I think I'm going to wrap up this review here now, because it's getting me heated just thinking about it, and I might come back with another video just wrapping up the next 2 books. But all I have to say is that it is well worth the read. It is well worth the read. Even though essentially I do believe this book is about trauma. This book is about trauma. It's about survival. It's about creating your own environment for you to survive in. It had its moments. It had great friendship moments. It had great character interaction moments. And the 5th season on itself could stand. If you just read the 5th season, you would get so much, your life would be so much elevated, you take so much away from it. However, I do urge you to continue on with the series, because the 2nd book and the 3rd book were also fantastic. The 2nd book and the 3rd book, you get that conclusion, that nice wrapper, okay? There's more things that happen, and I feel like if I talk about them, it would be spoiler for the 1st one, so I don't want to go too much into it here in this video. But it is worth your time, okay? And by the time you get to the 2nd book, you're used to the 2nd POV perspective. You're used to it, and you crave it, and you want more of it, okay? And let me just say, I did not see the way this 1st book was ended. I did not see the conclusion. I did not see how all the characters interwove with each other. It took me by surprise, and I loved it. I love a good surprise. I love knowing, like, when I read books, I like to guess what the book is about. I like to guess how it's going to end. And if it happens the way I assumed it happened, then I can judge if I enjoyed it. Because did you wrap up the way I wanted? I had no idea where he was going with this book. I had no idea that ending was coming. And I loved that. For me, I had such a good time with it. The 5th season is validating. It's empowering. It's terrifying. And it's also incredible. Do yourself a favour. If you haven't already picked up the 5th season, go ahead and pick it up. If you go ahead, pick it up. Go ahead and read it. Go ahead and devour its content. And when you're done, move on to the Stone Sky. Because every book in this series was a 5 out of 5. 10s across the board. What did I say? I said 10s across the board. Okay? Well, that's it for me today. I believe I babbled on enough. Let me know, have you read the 5th season? What were your thoughts on the book? Did you love it? Did you enjoy it? If you haven't read the 5th season, let me know when you're going to read it, because I know you're going to read it after hearing all the goods that I gave you. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be back with another video soon. Okay?